Hey everybody. Tabitha recently featured on her YouTube some molds and some paperweights that she made, and I've done these before too and was inspired to show you mine. I have this 3-inch Color de Verre heart mold that I've used before in prior videos. You can find those elsewhere here on my YouTube page. But what I did was I took some Murrini and made a little puck. I love these Murrini from Lori Moreno, although Tabitha makes some too, but these happen to be from Lori. These were heart-shaped rainbow Murrini, and so I cut a little heart in some fiber paper, and then I chopped up the Murrini and I stacked them in there. This one was a little bit taller, it had some taller height to it, and then this one was a little bit shorter. But what I did was fired those, and I'll post the video notes what that looked like, but here's how it goes from here. Okay, so here are these two pieces. This one was, thicker, had the taller pieces, and so you can see they kind of lay over a little bit, particularly on this left side. And then this was the one that I cut where the pieces were a lot thinner. It didn't fully fill in. Can you see those gaps around the edge? But that's okay, because the way I'm going to use it, I didn't need it to fully fill in. So I'll show you what I'm going to do with these here next. Okay, so here it is. I put the heart piece on the inside, the Murrini piece, and then I don't know, piled a handful of frit on top, and this is just chopped up Tekta, and we're gonna fire it to a full fuse and see what comes out. Okay, I totally forgot to mention, I put frit in the heart first as a base layer, then my little Murrini puck, then topped it with more frit. Okay, so I pulled this out of the kiln. I did a full fuse on this. I'll post my schedule in the video notes, and pops right out of the mold, and you can see the hearts are kind of trapped in there in this clear. Let me clean this up just quickly a little bit. There's just a little bit of residue on there. This is not going to be a clear, crystal clear piece. So what you can see on the surface is that all that kind of cloudy, really it's texture and things that you get from that first firing. So what I'm going to do now is take some diamond pads that I've got here, and I'm going to just really give this some elbow grease and kind of really rough it up and take this first layer off, and then do a fire polish. And I've got a few more that I'll show you as well, so I'm going to fire polish them all at the same time. The fire polish that I like to use on my kiln is 1275 for 60 minutes. And what I find is this spreads out just a little bit, but the glass doesn't move too much at that 1275 temperature, and holding it for 60 minutes gives me a nice nice fire polish. Again, it does spread out just a little bit, but not too much, and that's kind of a good balance that I've found personally. And while I fired this one last night, I fired a couple more pieces. So this was some Murrini that I had from Lori Moreno, and I just chopped them up and put them in there. And so, the edges are a little spiky because I chopped them a little thinner. I didn't make them as tall, so they didn't fill in as much. If I wanted these to be flawless, I'd either need to cut them taller so that the 6mm rule applies, and that it kind of evens out to be an even 6mm, or add some frit to it or something. But I don't care that these are perfect, because again, I'm gonna encase them in other glass anyway. So let me get to work on polishing this up, and then we'll get it into the kiln for a fire polish. What I forgot to mention was that if it were just texture, I would fire polish and it would be fine. But because I use chopped up Tekta, you do tend to see the lines a little bit on the surface, and sometimes they pick up just a faint amount of zip. So that's why I'm roughing this up, is to really kind of take off those lines and the zip before I fire polish. Okay. Just a few notes. So you saw, well, I started with the 200 grit, and then I decided I needed to take more material off. So I went to town with the 60 grit and really rough this up. You can spray it again with water to kind of get a sense of what it might look like after fire polish. We're going to put this in, just see what happens. So hopefully this turns out really nice. It got nice clear on the back. Hopefully we kind of see through that in the front when I do it as well. This is a piece that I did earlier. This is all petrified wood that was put in here. It's covered with clear, so there's some depth to it. And I thought the petrified wood gave a really cool look. I've already sanded this one down, and I think it kind of looks like camouflage, so we'll see what it looks like when it comes out. And then this was another experiment. I had done some stringers that I fired at full fuse. They blue, white, and red as kind of a little stripe effect. I did a base of clear Tekta. I put that stringer piece in there, component in there, and then I put some irid in. I thought I had it irid side down, but apparently I did not have all of it. So the irid kind of wrinkles up and looks weird. I'm not sure that you're really going to see much irid through the top here, but I went ahead and roughed it up, and we're going to fire polish it anyway and see what that comes out to look like. One more note, I'm using vinegar and water here. It's kind of a half-half mixture. I would totally just use normal water. However, this is what I had handy and I was too lazy. I did a workout today. This was a workout. I was too lazy to go back in and get water. So that's why I was using this, but you could totally use water. And then you may see off here to the side, I made some pieces. I like to use my scrap glass. And when I have a full fuse going in, I'll often fill up a little jewelry mold like this. And I guess sometimes it can become jewelry. My intention with these, though, is to glue magnets on the back because I like to give away a magnet with all of my purchases. And so this scrap glass was just going to become cool magnets. But one stuck in here. I must not have had enough zip. I always try to reapply and check that, but this one's been stuck. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this mold in upside down in the kiln rather than banging this and try. I mean, I gave it a couple of good knocks and nothing happened. I certainly don't want to risk breaking my mold. So when I put these in for fire polish at 1275 for 60 minutes, I'm going to put this in upside down, and I'm going to hope that that pops out, that the heat is enough to allow that to release. So we'll see what happens when I open the kiln. There, we're taking this to the kiln, and we'll see what they look like when they come back. Thanks. Okay, I just opened the kiln, and here we are. As you can see, got a really nice fire polish on that. Now, there are some bubbles in there, but you know what? That's what glass does, and I'm okay with it. I did do a bubble squeeze on this, but I still got some bubbles. I mean, when I fired it the first time, I did the bubble squeeze, but I'm okay with that. That is beautiful, in my opinion. So, you know, they're not at the surface. They didn't pop or anything, and I'm pretty pleased with the way that looks. Here's this piece. You see a little bit of the irid there, and then my, you know, camo heart. Oh yeah, let's see here. Did that pop out? No. Oh, well, it fell down a little bit because it flattened out on the top, but then maybe it got back. Oh, there we go. Popped them out. Okay, well, so there you go. Managed. That worked out well. Oh yeah, I can feel at the bottom there. That's what got caught. Might have taken a little bit of chunk out of my mold, but at least I saved the mold, so. All right, so just wrapping this up, I wanted to show a few others. These are the finished pieces of the ones that I showed before midway through the video. So those turned out nice. You've got this one again that, this one may be my favorite in the end. I have one here that I used a bunch of bubble. I've made an early video on how to do bubbles with copper carbonate, and then I took a whole bunch of that and threw it in there. The surface isn't perfect because some of those bubbles come up, but I think that one is really cool. You saw this one. This one I'm pleased with. I mean, the irid, you can kind of see it in there. And then this was another one I just made this week with some scrap. I found this new stockpile scrap. I forgot I had some freeze and fuse that didn't work. I threw the freeze and fuse, which was this turquoise, in with some French vanilla chunks and some opaline, and that opaline struck and got kind of a cool look to it. So I love this heart mold from Color de Verre. In fact, I think I only have one. I think I'm going to need some more of them because I just love using Tekta and scrap to make these things. It's great. You can frame them. So here's a picture, a couple of pictures of how I frame them. I use a little bit of actually got it right here, auto marine sealant. I use the DAP brand, and I put that on 3mm chunk of glass, just like a square. Actually 6mm would be even better if you've got it, or 2 3s. I just make a little you know, square piece and glue it to my heart, and then glue that inside the frame. I get these frames from Hobby Lobby, and I'm really pleased with the way those turn out. So these are easy sellers, and they're great as paperweights, but they look kind of cool when they're framed too. You just have to take into mind how heavy these hearts are, because you don't want them to pull that frame forward. There you go. If you enjoy these and like my videos, drop me a comment, let me know what you think, and subscribe to the videos, and you'll see more things coming up in the future.